Hey you guys, it's Xbell123, the Road Rippers Expert 2.0 here, and today, or well, tonight, I'm gonna do a tutorial on how to fix a slipped gear in the 5-gear gearbox. Yeah, so I'm gonna be using my Escalade to do this. So that means I have to go inside of it and possibly slip the gear on purpose to reglue it again. But you know, sometimes that just has to happen, when in reality it just doesn't have to happen. But I'm like slightly upset with this. The reason why is because I just fixed the slipped gear in this Mustang like yesterday and stuff. In this Mustang yesterday. I was just inside of it yesterday. So yeah, I had to go inside of it 2 times because at first, like, when I glued the gear the first time, it slipped again because I didn't put too much glue. It's on there now. I just have to like add like a zip tie so that way the axle can stay down. And yes, I know the battery case isn't there. It's in here. I'm gonna open this now off camera because I'm sure you guys know how to open one of these, right? I don't have to make a tutorial for that, do I? Okay, so I got the Escalade open now. This is how it looks on the inside. Now, I'm gonna put a vehicle on the other side so it doesn't fall. But, so yeah, that's what it looks like on the inside of the Escalade. Flash on. So yeah, that's how it looks on the inside of one of these older Street Pound Sound Escalades. Pretty much the same, almost. Now, normally, I would take one of these wheels off. The loose one at that. But, I don't have time to do that right now. So, I'm just gonna take off these bracket pieces. What you have to do is, like, take off these bracket pieces. Yes, these are called brackets. They hold down the gearbox and stuff, and they need to be there in order for the gearbox to be held down, or else the wheels will rub against the wheel well and the vehicle will probably not drive. But yeah, you just have to like unscrew these and stuff. Then you have to unscrew these screws on the side of the gearboxes and stuff, and the gearbox should lift up, or you would have to put it up, of course. But yeah, and you, as you guys can see, there's tape on these wires because I took these wires off so I could manage the gearbox correctly. So I'm going to do that right now. Okay, so I have the gearbox right here, and I took the wires off and stuff. So yeah, now normally, like I said earlier, I would take these wheels off because it lets the gearbox open up fully. I may or may not do that this time because I don't know if I glued the wheel on or not. I cannot remember. Yeah, I think I did. I see glue residue. So, yeah, I may or may not be able to take this wheel off. Hang on. Okay, yeah, I cannot take that wheel off. So, yeah. So I'm just gonna take a flathead screwdriver. Okay, I'm gonna take a flathead screwdriver and undo these clips right here. These clips are what hold the gearbox together, basically, and stuff. So yeah, you just have to like undo these and stuff, then the gearbox should pop out, or the halves should pop, and there goes the other gear that goes on this axle right here. So I'm gonna switch camera views real fast. So what you're gonna have to do is there's like one gear on the side of the main gear and stuff. This is the main gear that you have to glue and stuff. Never glue this gear on the side, this loose one on the side of the main gear and stuff, because if you glue that gear in any way at all, or even if it gets stuck, the vehicle will not drive properly, or it may not drive at all. So that's like a big caution with this manner. Never glue that gear. Never ever glue this gear right here at all. The one that I'm spinning. Never glue this gear. I have to say it multiple times in case some people may not understand. So that's that. Now on to this gear. Now for some road rippers, it may be stuck like heck, like how it is on here now, because I glued it. So what you're gonna have to do is try and slide this gear over to the best of your ability. Try and slide it over, and then you will see two lines on the axle and stuff. Once you slide the gear over, you will either see two lines or a diamond pattern on the gear axle and stuff. Now, once you see that, that is called the grip. The grip of the axle is what holds the gear in place, so that way it doesn't go anywhere. But over time, the gear itself gets stress on it. The stress is what causes the gear to slip and split in half, which causes the vehicle to slip and not drive. So there's that. Now, you may be wondering, oh, how do I fix this issue, Xbell? I have the correct answer for you right here. So, you're gonna have to slide the gear over, like I said multiple times. Slide the gear over until you see the grip part of the axle. Once you see that grip part of the axle, put just a dab of glue there in this area and stuff. Make sure it goes like all around the axle almost. And then you have to slide the gear back over. Like slide it over in like a twisting motion, so that way it grips onto the axle again. Then once that happened, you gotta put the gearbox back together, put the gearbox back into the vehicle, secure the gearbox back the way it was, put the vehicle back together. You could test it if you want. I wouldn't recommend testing it a lot of times, or else the gear will split, like what you heard from me with my Fast and Fashionable Mustang. And then if that happens, you have to open it up and do the same process all over again. There's that. And then once you get the vehicle and the gearbox back in the vehicle, once you get the vehicle back together, you have to let the vehicle sit for like almost like 24 hours up until like a full day, basically, so that way the glue can cure onto the gear correctly, and that way it'll be solid, so that way the gear doesn't slip or split again. Now, for some road rippers, you may not be able to slide the gear over off of the grip, because the grip is still gripping onto the gear. And that's funny, right? Because that's what it's called, a grip. So if that happens, all you have to do is just put glue on one side of the gear, and that is it. If you cannot slide the gear over at all, just put glue on one side of the gear, so that way it's on the gear and it's touching the axle. That will make the gear stay in place. Like I said earlier, never glue this gear right here, because this gear needs to be free. Because if it's not free at all, if it doesn't like spin freely at all, well, almost and stuff, the vehicle will not perform correctly and it may not drive at all. And the reason why this gear needs to be free is so that way the torque ratio can be, well, like balanced out and stuff. Because if you glue these gears together, the torque ratio will not be correct, meaning that the vehicle will won't basically drive at all, really. I do not recommend gluing both the gears at all, because that will potentially damage the gearbox also. So, and then if you get like any glue like on the other side where the gear needs to be free, somehow, I don't know how you'd be able to do that when I'm telling you not to glue that gear, but if that ever manages to happen, file the glue away, so that way it'll be like a clean area for the gear to go back to again. Remember, it's one gear that you have to glue inside the entire gearbox. Only one gear, not any other gear, just one singular gear that you have to glue in the gearbox in order to make the vehicle drive properly. Now, when you open the gearbox, you will see two other gears that are closest to the motor gear. Do not mess with those at all. Now, if the gear on the motor shaft is slipped, then yes, glue that, of course. That should be obvious. But it's only one gear that you have to glue, and that's the gear on the wheel axle. What I mean by the wheel axle is the axle that has the tires connected onto it. Yeah, and like I said, like, I don't know, like 3 or 4 times, It's only one gear you have to glue. Just one gear. Just one gear. There's like another gear next to that gear that's loose. That needs to stay loose. If you glue that gear, you mess the entire thing up. That's basically it for this tutorial. I know it was kind of rough in some areas, but that's because I had to open this thing up and do this all over again when I really did not want to at all. I've been inside this thing probably like 5 times already. Or probably like 4, I don't know. It's just, I don't mind doing tutorials. It's just that like, maybe like some people just like don't understand what to do when they see like pictures and worded instructions somehow. But yeah, that community post is still up if you guys want to go look at it, because it has everything you need to know, even what I said in this video, well, except for the part where I said like what vehicles use this type of gearbox, but that should be self-explanatory in that post. Yeah, that's basically it for this tutorial. I'm gonna end the recording now, and I'm gonna put the Escalade back together off camera. Good luck, and let me know if you have any questions on this at all. Yeah, this tutorial contains everything you need to know about fixing the gear. Bye, you guys.
Can you move it like this? I can shake it like that. Can you move it like this? I can shake